Hello everyone, welcome to Business Model Innovation Series 1. In my today's session, I would like to discuss some of the lessons from the recently funded startups by some of the top VC firms. I will be focusing on covering 5 real case studies in just 10 minutes. This is my experience I'm sharing with you all after working with some of the finest startups in the country, and after interacting with some of the best minds, best CEOs and founding teams of some of the successful startups. In the last 6 months or so, I was fortunate enough to screen more than 45-50 startups for screening them for investments. And during this period, I realized how interesting it is, how interesting the VC firm actually works, and how difficult it is for a startup to get funded. Let me start my today's session with a session outline. That is the take-home points. The take-home points that I would like to focus here is, why do some startups get funded so quickly or so easily? And what are some of the unique business models which actually attracts VC firms? The third point I would like to discuss here is how to build an innovative business model. A lot of times, many of the students who are very bright, who have that entrepreneurial spirit, and some of the startup entrepreneurs I discuss with have this, have this very interesting question: how do we design a unique business model? So, in just 5 or 10 minutes, I would like to quickly present to you all few of the lessons that I have learned. To the question, why do some startups get funded very quickly or easily, is these are the startups which are trying to address the real pain point of a customer. And these startups have traction in terms of attraction from VCs, or customers have adopted their products early on. These startups also have network effect. In one of my next series, I would love to discuss what is network effect. And more importantly, tactfully designed business models. These are some of the reasons why some startups get investment very early in their stage, and why they grow very aggressively. Moving on, what are some of the types of business models? Of course, there are many different types of business models, but some of the unique business models which I have learned by interacting with a lot of VC firms in the country, some of the top VC firms in the country, and some of the best startups. So I would like to present them as 3 different types: flipped business model, cloned business model, and product as a service business models. So these are some of the 3 models that I would like to discuss with you all today. All right, the first one is flipped business model. In my interaction with these 2 startups, that is Advance and Home Capital, which recently raised money, a very big amount of money from Sequoia Capital. What I understand is these 2 Indian fintech startups have flipped their business model, and they are into giving loans which is interest free. Isn't it surprising? They give away loans. They also provide no cost EMI, and they do not charge anything on the customers who take loan from them. So in that case, how do they really make money? That is very much interesting. And this is exactly what I call it as flipped business model. So they have flipped the model in the sense, traditional bankers used to charge it on the person who takes the loan, but these companies have flipped it, and they charged to some other entities or the organizations which provide these services. In one of the next session, I'll go very deep. I'll do a deep dive analysis on how these companies actually make money, their business and revenue models. But this is very much interesting. Moving on, the cloned business model. Cloned business model is very popular in Western world. Some people like it, some people do not like it. There are always issues of business ethics, legality. Fine, but let us today focus on what exactly they do. If you notice, there is this company called Zalando, which was a complete clone of Zappos, right? You have my videos, which is copy of YouTube, and likewise you have Vimdo, which was completely a rip-off of a knockoff of Airbnb. They simply copied Airbnb's business model. They even copied their website. So Brian, the CEO and founder of Airbnb, when he was very much upset with Vimdo copying his business model, he simply approached his mentor, Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook, and he asked him what needs to be done, because Vimdo was trying to capture Airbnb's market by copying them, and they also made an offer to Airbnb saying, if you do not buy us, we may enter your space and we may compete heavily. So Mark Zuckerberg advised Brian, the founder of Airbnb, not to give up, and then he said, fight back, and whichever startup wins. So the traditional model, the usual model of these cloned business models, what these companies do is they copy the successful business models of different countries, and then they ask them to buy them back. So that is one business model, right? You copy what is already a successful. It's like remaking a movie. The third business model, which I would like to discuss here, is product as a service business model. Now, I discussed one of my favorite business models here is Buttocks. The CEO is Mr. Brijesh. When I discussed with him, what I understood is he is addressing a pain point where he is making underwear as a subscription service. He says you need not buy underwears the way you always used to buy. So what he does is he gives you a subscription. So very interesting business model. I would love to discuss more. I would request all of you to do more research on this company. Floor cleaning robots. This company is called Peppermint, and the CEO is Ronald. What they do is, instead of trying to sell the robots, which customers always think is very expensive, they give it on subscription basis. So they don't sell the robots. They say you can basically you can subscribe, 3-month subscription, 6-month subscription, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year. So you can go ahead and subscribe the robots. So they deliver the robots, and you can use them and give it back to them. So customers are very much happy about these subscription based models. So product as a service is one different, a unique business model. In my next session, I would definitely be discussing more about how you can make, or how you can get some of the top VCs to ask you for your pitch deck, right? That is very much important. Generally, what we do is, students or entrepreneurs, they keep sharing their pitch deck to attract VCs. Many times, it won't work. Sometimes it does work, but there is something which we all should know, that you can make them ask for your pitch deck. Then I would also like to discuss from how do you make your student startup into an accelerator kind of startup? How do we do that? And in detail, I will deep dive into designing a unique business model. So see you all in my next presentation. Till then, thank you.